Welcome to Brussels, the capital of the European Union, the city that hosts a number of principal EU institutions, including its legislative, executive and political branches. The town itself has around 1.2 million inhabitants, and even though there are three languages that are most common here, French, Flemish Dutch and English, you could easily hear some more languages on its streets. I started my journey by visiting the European Parliament. Today is a day when all European institutions are open for public, that's why I took benefit of it. I waited for around half an hour in the row in front of the Altiero Spinelli building, which was completed in 1998 and is now a familiar Brussels landmark. This building is named after the Italian innovative politician who is nowadays regarded as a founding father of the EU. The European Parliament is an important forum for political debate and decision-making at the EU level. The members of the European Parliament are directly elected by voters in all member states to represent people's interests with regard to EU lawmaking and to make sure other EU institutions are working democratically. The European Parliament is made up of 705 members, and currently there is an ongoing program for visitors who can pose questions to some of the parliamentarians. I'm searching for the right spot to sit.
And in that sense, I think indeed we've been very clear when it comes.
Maybe in the future we'll go also into that direction with your concern on education.
I made a short tour around the building to see what are the other things that organizers prepared for the visitors. After a while, I'm back on the streets of Brussels. My first destination is Leopold Park, that is a small yet beautiful public green space in the heart of the European Quarter in Brussels. Despite its size, it is actually considered as one of the best parks in the EU capital. Nowadays, it is one of the most popular spots in town for a quiet walk, especially for the bureaucrats who work at the nearby institutions. Nearby this small Leopold Quarter is the European Quarter that is located around the Place du Luxembourg and the Robert Schuman roundabout. The European Commission, housed in the Berlaymont building, is located on the Schuman roundabout, not far from the Cinquantenaire Park. Across the street stands the Justus Lipsius building and the Europa building, part of the Residence Palace, serving as the seat of the European Council and the Council of the EU. I continue the journey further towards the Cinquantenaire Park. Located in the heart of the European Quarter of Brussels, the Cinquantenaire is much more than a place for sunbathing and relaxing. It's a landmark of Brussels. Most buildings in the park were commissioned by King Leopold II to commemorate 50 years of Belgian independence. Interestingly enough, the arch was supposed to be finished in 1880, but was completed only 25 years later for a Belgian jubilee in 1905. I'll walk a little bit more through European Quarter and then I will go to another part of the city and make a tour around city center. The Place Royale, or the King's Square, is a historical neoclassical square in the royal quarter of Brussels. It is modeled after the so-called French Royal Square and built between 1775 and 1782. The Place Royale is one of the oldest architecturally consistent and monumental public squares, as well as an excellent example of 18th century urban architecture. Rectangular and symmetrical in shape, it measures 77 by 113 meters and is entirely paved. In its center stands an equestrian statue of Godfrey of Bouillon, who was a French nobleman and preeminent leader of the First Crusade. My next station is the Mont des Arts, meaning Hill of the Arts, which is an urban complex and historic site in the central Brussels, including the Royal Library of Belgium, the National Archives of Belgium, the Square, Brussels Meeting Centre, and public garden. By the end of 19th century, King Leopold II had the idea to convert the site into an arts quarter and bought the whole neighborhood. Various architects and urban planners were called upon to draw plans of the buildings which were to accommodate all kinds of cultural institutions. Today, musicians entertain the audience here. Listen. I continue to walk along the cobbled streets to the Grand Place. The Grand Place, or the Grand Square, is the central square of Brussels. The Grand Place construction began in 11th century and was largely complete by the 17th century. Nowadays, the Grand Place is the most important tourist destination and the most memorable landmark in Brussels. It is also considered one of the world's most beautiful squares and has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1998. On the street near the Grand Place, you can find a lot of shops where you can buy souvenirs for friends and family. My next stop is Manneken Pis. Manneken Pis, Dutch name for Little Pissing Man, is a landmark of bronze fountain sculpture of a naked little boy urinating into the fountain's basin. Manneken Pis has been repeatedly stolen or damaged throughout its history. Since 1965, a replica has been displayed with the original stored in the Brussels City Museum. The figure is regularly dressed up and its wardrobe consists of around 1,000 different costumes. At the moment, there is an Italian orchestra next to the fountain. In the heart of Brussels, a beautiful commemorative plaque reminds us of one of Brussels' most beloved mayors, Charles Bouls. Next to it is the monument of Everard Tisserclaes. Now I'm back to Grand Place. The square frequently hosts festive and cultural events, among them, in August every year, the installation of an immense flower carpet in its center. The Royal Galleries of Saint Hubert in Brussels form one of Europe's most beautiful and oldest glass-roof shopping arcades. Composed of three elegant Florentine-inspired arcades, the galleries are lined with upscale shops and restaurants and draw around 6 million visitors each year. Crowned by glass-paned roofs that shelter visitors whatever the weather, the arcades are filled with fashion, book, chocolate and jewelry boutiques, as well as artsy coffee houses, restaurants, a theater and a cinema. My next spot is a medieval Roman Catholic cathedral nearby city center that's called St. Michael and St. Gudula Cathedral. It is usually shortened to the Cathedral of St. Gudula. The Romanesque church's construction began in 11th century, replacing an earlier chapel, and was largely complete in its current Gothic form by 16th century, though its interior was frequently modified in the following centuries. The building includes late Gothic and Baroque chapels, whilst its neo-Gothic decorative elements, including some of its stained glass windows in the aisles, date from restoration work in the 19th century. The church was elevated to cathedral status in 1962, and it frequently hosts royal weddings, state funerals, and other official ceremonies. I walked through the Brussels Park and arrived to Brussels Royal Palace, which is the official palace of King and Queen of the Belgians. However, it is not used as a royal residence, as the king and his family live in the Royal Palace of Laeken in northern Brussels. In front of the palace, they are preparing a stage for an event. So, if you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel for more content on language learning and the language acquisition process, and see you in some of the next videos. Bye!